Hi there. Today we're going to be diving into a topic that I personally believe that many people misunderstand, and it's the topic of creativity. So most people think creativity is a gift, something you either have or you don't, something that comes naturally to some people and is just absent with some. But the truth is, creativity isn't a gift, neither is it magical. Creativity rather is a skill. It's a skill that you can develop by practice. A skill you can develop by practice, such that the more you show up, the easier it flows. The more you show up, the easier it flows. So if you've ever felt like you're not a creative person, or that inspiration rarely strikes you, or you just feel like you're not in charge of your creative flows and moments, and you know that you really have the capacity to give expression to more creativity than you're currently doing, then this episode is for you. We're going to be debunking some myths. I'll be sharing some insights, powerful insights, and I will give you a framework to tap into the creativity that already exists on the inside of you. So there's this common belief that some people are just naturally creative while others are not. But that's simply not true. That's not true. Creativity is not a talent. It's not a gift. It's not something you either have or you don't. So it's a skill. Think of creativity like a muscle, such that the more you use it, the stronger it becomes. That's what makes somebody muscular. He's not muscular because he was gifted with that. He wasn't gifted with it. It was because he engaged. It was because he lifted weights. It was because he practiced again and again and again. And that's how creativity is. So it means you don't wait for creativity. You don't wait for inspiration. It's a trap. It's a trap. A trap of waiting for inspiration is something that has affected a lot of people. It keeps them from starting at all. But the real deal is actually starting and then expecting inspiration to meet you midway on the journey. So if you've been waiting for the perfect moment to create, you have a project, you have something in mind that you should have started on, but the only thing stopping you is that you're just waiting around and hoping that creativity strikes you. You have a light bulb or eureka moment. I want to tell you to stop waiting. Just stop waiting. Creativity doesn't come to you. It doesn't. You have to go after it. It works in such a way that the more you create, the more you find inspiration in the process, on the journey, in the process of creating. That's where you find inspiration. Now you see why waiting is a trap. It's just a trap. You're going to stay in that point of inertia and expect inspiration forever. And that way, you are putting your creativity, you are putting your productivity to chance. You are putting it to luck. There is this paradox around the concept of creativity, especially in the area of use. And there's a quote by Maya Angelou that perfectly, states that paradox. She says, you can't use up creativity. The more you use it, the more you have. The more you use it, the more you have. One of the biggest issues that people have with creating at times is that they have this fundamental understanding that they can run out of creative juice. They can run out of ideas. And so they are cautious in creating. They are cautious in putting out too much. But the real truth is that creation breeds creation. That exact process of creating actually breeds new ideas that would make more creation happen. So contrary to popular belief, popular opinion, you won't run out of creative ideas. I dare to tell you that you might have had experiences that seemed like you ran out of creative ideas, but that's not exactly what happened. In fact, building that creative habit is what will make you more creative. Getting into the process of creating is the exact formula, the exact recipe that would make you more creative. So in the process of creation is where you get new ideas to create more. See, for every podcast episode that I make, from the scripting process to the ideation to the recording, everything, for every new tweet I post online, I get at least one new idea just in the process of creating. Sometimes while writing, sometimes while recording, sometimes while reading the comments, sometimes while editing. It just happens. It just happens. At least I would get one new idea just in the process of creation. So the real secret is that the more you create, the more you can create. You get better at creating. You get more ideas on what to create. That's how it has been naturally designed. So creative ideas actually multiply. They multiply the more you pursue them. Each new idea that you pursue leads up to new ones, and then they just keep multiplying. So what usually happens most of the time when it looks like you ran out of creative ideas was that you got into the creative process without having the consciousness that this is an opportunity to get new ideas. So you didn't go in with an open mind. You just went in with the mindset that I'm coming here to release that which I have and hope that, by luck or chance, I find something else. And so you miss out on all the nudges, all the sparks of inspiration that are actually on the way in that process of creation. That's actually what happens. I mean, look at it. Have you wondered why some writers, musicians, entrepreneurs, they just seem to have endless supply of ideas? The real answer is that the act of using your ideas, working on your ideas, is actually that signal that you are giving, that signal that you are beckoning on inspiration. And so it just replenishes itself. But then the starting point is for you to kill that thought that you can run out of ideas. No, you can't. You can't. You just think in your head that you ran out of ideas, but you did not run out of ideas. You just came into the process of creation with a closed mind. And so you missed out on all the cues, you missed out on all the signals of inspiration in the process of creating. Naturally, creation should breed more creation. Pursuing ideas should make more ideas come to you. That's how it works. See, the clarity you're waiting for in order to properly create the things that you want to create actually comes in the process of creating. In the process. 90%, way above 90% of all the hacks and systems I engage in the process of recording each podcast episode that I record came in the process of creating. Constantly and committedly struggling with it till I found a better way to get it done. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a struggle. But in the midst of that struggle, that's where you will find a better way to get it done. That's where the creative juice, that's where the inspiration actually strikes. I know we live in an endless age of information where you can just believe that by watching videos on YouTube, reading more books, absorbing more content will make you more creative. But that's not how it works. Creativity does not come by just consuming. Creating itself, the process of creating itself is what gives you clarity. That's where you get clear on what to do and how to do it, and how to do it even much better. So excessive consumption of content, excessive consumption of projects, excessive consumption of works is actually what overloads your mind. That's actually what is overloading your mind. You feel like you're exploring, you're checking out ideas, you are looking and searching for inspiration. But what you are doing is you are overloading your mind. But when you create, your thoughts organize, your ideas flow, right? If you feel stuck creatively, what you need to do, the solution is not to consume more. The solution is to create more. Yeah, you need to create more. Now, there is one silent but major killer of creativity that I know of. And that is overthinking. Have you ever had a great idea, but you just thought and analyzed and overthought it so much that you never acted on it? Yeah, that's what happens. That's what happens when you are flowing against the rules of creativity. Creativity needs the action of creation to flow. And when you overthink, you are starving your inspiration. You are starving the creative flow. That's what many people don't see. When you're overthinking, you are starving that creative flow. So you're actually starving your creativity in the guise of trying to perfect things, trying to put things in perfect shape. Overthinking is one major creativity killer. One major creativity killer that you should stay away from, that you should run away from. See, there's just so much benefit to committing to the creative process beyond just the reward of having something that you can show off as a creation of yours. There are a lot of overlooked benefits, and one of these overlooked benefits of creativity is that it's not just about making things, it's an avenue. It's an avenue to discover latent giftings that you have. A lot of the giftings that I took time to develop in myself were giftings that I discovered in the season where I used to be a freelance software developer at night and a digital marketer by day. Yeah. So I used to be a software developer at night, work on projects, freelance projects, and then by day I'm also working on marketing campaigns for different businesses, different platform, different brands. Now it was in the middle of this several projects that I found out that there are some things that I do way more effortlessly than the average person. Giftings that I would have never noticed, save for my commitment to that tiresome creative process. Just because I subjected myself to that process. So creating is not just about sharing ideas and coming up with things that you can show to your friends that I made this. It's more like a process that mirrors your soul, such that the more you create, the more you discover about yourself, your unique abilities. So I would just like to say that creativity shouldn't seem like work to you. Shouldn't seem like work. Why? By design. By design, you are a generative being. You are a creative being. The real work that you have to do is peeling away the layers of fear, the layers of doubt, the layers of hesitation, the layers of hiding, the second guessing that has disconnected you from that innate generative nature that you have, that innate creative nature that you have. So 2 practical steps by which you can tap into the creativity that you already have access to. The creativity that you already have access to. Number 1 is to make sure you create every single day, no matter how small it is. Make something, create something, write something, link something, connect something. Make sure you are using your creativity every single day. Make sure that muscle is exercised every single day. Every single day. Create a system around your day that makes sure that you do that. Number 2 is act on your best ideas now. Act in the moment. When you get struck by inspiration, when you have a great idea, do something about it in the moment. Just find a way to do something about it in the moment. There are times when I get ideas and the first thing I do is to type it out in a note. If I don't type it out in a note, I try and give it some form of flesh, or just get a plain sheet and write down that idea. It could be a sentence, it could be a phrase. Place it somewhere I know I'm surely going to come back to meet it. But you have to do something. You have to do something. You have to do something that traps down that idea and gives it some form of concrete form. Concrete form. In closing for this episode, I would like to say stop waiting. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for inspiration. Creativity is about doing. It's about taking action, even when you don't feel like it. That's just the rule. That's how creativity works. So it's not something you are waiting for. And get into the practice. Get into the practice. The more you practice, the more creative you will get. So the more you create, the more creative you will become. The more you take action, the more your ideas will multiply. And most importantly, the more you create, the more you will truly discover latent, innate giftings. Things that you would not discover by waiting. So here's my challenge to you. Start creating today. No matter how small, no matter how messy, just start. Just start. It's not magic, right? It's not magic. Creativity isn't magic. It's movement. Creativity is not magic, it's movement. All right. Thank you. Thank you for listening to today's episode of the Luminary Podcast. We're still in that same series, God's Businessman. If this episode resonated with you, I know you have at least one person you want to share this with on your socials, or you want to share it with them directly. You can leave a comment. Also, you can use the follow button. Follow the Luminary Podcast on Spotify, on YouTube, on Apple Podcast, and on AudioMac. And most importantly, go create something today. See you on the next one. Take charge.